All right, Mike, we've been having a bunch of conversations lately about how we can provide more value and more impact to our Doctors and Dollars listeners, people in the groups, people watching the episodes, all of the different series that we have. And we're trying to wrap our heads around how we can bring that impact and that value to them more concisely. You approached me with a 5-day challenge. What is the 5-day challenge?
So the 5-day challenge is basically taking our content, and the idea is how do we boil down our content and the knowledge and education and provide it in the most concise, efficient manner, but still create a ton of impact. So we could give it in very small doses, but it'd be kind of fluff, or we can deliver it with our best content in the most impactful. So like we talked about, we're really trying to bridge the two gaps. So we did the Physicians Financial Summit in Chicago, which was an in-person event, brought in speakers, 3-day event. That was by far the highest impact, but very difficult for people to get there. They got to buy a ticket, get off work, get a hotel room. So high impact, but highly difficult to attend. The flip side, we do all these podcast episodes. So very easy to listen to and consume the content, but less impactful because each episode is about 30 minutes and we really dive deep into a topic and try to cover all angles of it. This is meant to be kind of a bridge of those two. So easy to consume. We're doing just an hour a day, but also very impactful. The best content, the things that actually matter most kind of combined into a 1 hour per day, 5-day challenge.
Absolutely. And anybody can do an hour a day, right? I mean, these are for physicians in the Doctors and Dollars group. They went through 4 years of medical school, 4 years of residency, 18-hour days, pouring rain, make it as dramatic as you want, but they've been through it. And so to commit an hour a day for 5 days, I love the targetness that you're providing here. For example, day 4 is about trusts and wills. How are you possibly going to get all of that information into 1 hour?
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about, the most impactful information. So we could go through all of the details. Who's your trustee? What is this? But I think a lot of the people, hearing the feedback from people who watch the podcast or that were at the Physicians Financial Summit, the feedback is they need the nitty-gritty, right to the point. They don't need every comma and cross T. They want to know, do I need a trust? Should I have a trust set up already? How often do I review the trust? Is it revocable, irrevocable? These main questions. So we're really taking the meat of trust and estate planning and getting right to it. We're not building out a trust and walking through every fine detail of a 20-page document. That's where it becomes hours and hours long. We're getting right to the point. Here's what a trust is. Here's why you need it. Here's how you get them set up. Here's what they mean. Do you still need a will or not? Yes, you do need a will with the trust to answer that. But power of attorney, stuff like that, very to the point. And then we have resources like our documents that we'll share along if you want to kind of take that next level. And it really prepares you if you decide, for instance, you want to go use an attorney to set up your trust. It prepares you before you walk into that conversation with some knowledge and ability to ask intelligent questions. So you don't want to be walking to an attorney paying $400 per hour and you're asking basic questions. This is meant to give you that foundation of trust and estate planning. So you walk into a meeting educated and ready to go, or even you choose to go more of a DIY path and fill out the trust yourself. This gives you that basic foundation for trust and estate planning.
Absolutely. And I think why a lot of the physicians came to the financial summit back in March in Chicago was they're looking for that financial clarity, right? They're looking for that stability, that foundation. What are they missing that they haven't already obtained? And I think this 5-day challenge is going to be a great opportunity for those that are looking for those same things to take that first step towards clarity, to take these 5 days, 1 hour per day, to gather this information, to absorb it, and then say, okay, I've now taken one step closer to where I wanted to be. What's step 2? What would you say to those who are like, I don't know, I feel like I've got a good grasp on some of these things. Why do I need to take that first step?
Well, 2 things. There'll be 2 different groups of people then, I guess, right? So the first one is somebody who's heard of a trust. They maybe been advertised to, I should have a trust. They maybe Googled even what it is, but they don't have the time to piece all the puzzle pieces together, read all the Google articles and make a decision. They got to call an attorney and set it up. So for those people who just have the basic understanding that I probably need a trust, but I really don't know what it is, this is going to be a 1 hour direct to the point, all that Google research and all the stuff. Okay, now I know whether I need it or not. Now I understand the basics, and now I feel like I have that first step. For the other people, if you have a trust set up, you review it, you know everything, and we're talking about the trust just as one example. That's day 4, but we have 5 days of all different topics. But that same thing applies is if you think you know everything, for 1 hour, even if you commit an hour and pick up one thing that changes the trajectory of your path, it's worth the 1 hour commitment for that day, because that could have significant changes on your path in the future just to see one little puzzle piece that you are missing from your plan.
Absolutely. Why a challenge versus just sending out a webinar, right? We could email a bunch of people, put out a bunch of ads for a simple 1 hour webinar for them to watch. Why the challenge?
The challenge, it just all comes down to realistic ability to consume information. So people asked when we did the financial summit, are you going to do a virtual option? We've done stuff like that before. People just don't actually pay attention. They're trying to watch while taking care of the kids, while in and out of work, and they just don't commit and dedicate the time. Therefore, they may receive the knowledge, but they don't actually know how to apply it. They had too many gaps within that listening that they can't apply the knowledge, and it really doesn't take them to the next level. That's why we didn't offer a virtual option, because we don't want to just let content be out there and nobody actually gains from it. So the challenge is meant to be a commitment, and I can do this for 1 hour a day, and I can pay attention and focus. So we did the challenge because really it's the most impactful for somebody else. It's the same, right, as like having a personal trainer. If you said like, I got to get to the gym, it's for some reason, psychologically, more difficult to just show up at the gym and work out on your own. But if you have a meeting plan for 5 days in a row with a trainer and you have that scheduled, you just end up getting in the car and showing up at the gym and committing to doing it. So when you set that intentionality behind it and you say, I've been challenged, I got to do this. I put the integrity in myself that I can do this for 5 days for 1 hour per day. It just brings you to a next level of commitment. And that's really what's needed to get the impact of the knowledge. If you don't have that impact, it does no good in your life.
Absolutely. And physicians are built that way, right? They're just inherently built to overcome obstacles, to learn, to adapt. And when you put a challenge in front of them, they're going to work their butts off to be able to complete that challenge. That's just how most doctors are wired. And so I think this challenge is a perfect opportunity to take them outside of the medical world and to really focus on their financial world. Again, for an hour a day for 5 days, just to really hone in on those skills. Somebody joins the group, signs up for the challenge. What can they expect from the Doctors and Dollars community?
So within the Doctors and Dollars community is where we're kind of offering those next level questions. And that's kind of the purpose of the challenge as well, is when you go through and consume the content and there's something you don't quite understand, the community is there where you can ask that question and gain clarity. So the 5-day challenge is 1 hour per day, but then you have this whole backstop of a community that can help you answer questions as they pop up. So in 3 weeks, when you're taking knowledge that you learned from the 5-day challenge, but you forgot or you don't quite understand a topic and you need that kind of next level, you can just ask that question in the community and get an answer to it. So that's really the backstop of the community, is what's there, is to allow you to come and go as needed with that information. And really, you and I will be very active in there. It's our attempt, obviously within the family office, and we have our members there, is the super detailed, kind of super next level information, but we really want to provide the basics, at least to be able to give people that foundation and traction. And that's what the Doctors and Dollars community is for, is to be able to provide that foundation level of clarity.
Absolutely. And just like the folks that came to the financial summit in Chicago, people who complete the 5-day challenge makes them eligible to become a part of the family office if they choose to. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we do 10 spots in the family office twice per year, so spring and fall. And really our goal with the family office is to make sure that we have the right people that are applying and people that we can actually kind of take to the next level. So that's why we decided with this challenge that the challenge would basically be the prerequisite to applying to the family office. Because when you complete the challenge, it's two things. We know that you have integrity and dedication to really get to that next level, because we don't want to spend our time guiding you down this path and you never actually execute. So we want to make sure that. And the other thing is we want to make sure that people applying to the family office have that foundation of financial clarity and knowledge, that they're able to ask good questions. We really don't want to spend the time and use the experts within the family office to really be talking about super beginner stuff. So the goal is the 5-day challenge gives that foundation. It gets you to set up your financial statement, your income statement. It really is kind of that 101 prerequisite to be ready to really dive in and take your finances to the next level. So that's how we set it up. And I think it'll be a great thing, because I think it's going to make anybody who enters the family office in the future, by going through this challenge, it's going to make our family office that much stronger by making sure we have really the best fit individuals for the family office.
For sure. I am excited to see all of the doctors that take the challenge as we continue to build the Doctors and Dollars community. I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of them.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I can't wait.